Hello there, everyone. If you're watching this video, then you are part of the TTOR Army, an army that is building itself up one subscriber at a time. Now, before we get into the subject matter of the video, I'd like to remind you guys about something very important that you should definitely check out, and that is Quarter. Quarter is an open source alt tech alternative to YouTube that I started last year, about 7 months ago, roughly. Actually, no, it's probably about closer to 9 months ago. My bad. Anyway, so I founded this site. It's a YouTube alternative, and it is very feature rich for those of you who are interested, and it champions freedom of speech in action, as well as in word. So if you're looking for a feature-rich alternative to YouTube, Quarter is it. We got HD video uploads, including 4K. You got live streaming. You have free restreaming. You have public playlists. You have an easy-to-use comment moderation system. But then you also have features that you won't find on YouTube, such as Quarter Bucks, which is an insight currency that you can use to promote your videos and your whole channel on the main page of the site, and you earn Quarter Bucks by getting views on your uploads. There's also video chat rooms where you can basically do video conferencing with your friends, family, coworkers, followers, etc., and you can live stream to your channel from these chat rooms. So there's a lot of good reasons to use Quarter, especially in terms of features and functionality. So if you want true freedom of speech on the internet and you want a video sharing site that not only does that, but also gives you a lot of features and functionality that you would like, be sure to sign up for Quarter today. And now that we're done talking about Quarter, let's get into the subject matter of today's video. As you can see from the title and thumbnail of today's video, today we're going to be talking about the person who got stabbed at my church on Sunday. And disclaimer right up front, I was not there. Thank goodness. But before we get into the actual incident, let me give you some background information leading up to it. So today is Wednesday, March 15th. On Sunday, March 12th, when this incident took place, I didn't go to church that morning because daylight savings had just kicked in, and I woke up about 40 minutes before service was going to start, and I wasn't going to make it there in any kind of good time, so I decided to stay home and watch the service on their Roku's channel. So I'm watching the service, and everything's going about normal as it can be, and then something weird happened. So I have here the replay of that service and what I was watching on Roku, and it is at the 1 hour, 2 minute, and 50-second mark of the service of the live stream, which would have put this around just after noon. It would have been like 12:05 roughly, or maybe it was like 12:03 on that day, like 12:03 p.m. This is what happened that made me go, what's going on?
Whoever comes to me and hears my saying and does what I say, I will show you what he's like. We should really listen to this. He's like a man who builds his house, who digs deep, we're all good, guys. There's things you can, and there's things you should. That was a can, not a should. But everybody's safe. All right. All right, praise the Lord.
So, as you could see there, Aaron Taylor, the pastor of Crossfire, my pastor, was in the middle of giving a sermon when suddenly he stops speaking and he looks out to the back of the auditorium, and you can hear in the background, if you're having headphones on and listening closely, you can hear the sounds of footsteps and people screaming, and then Aaron comes back after everything's under control. And I thought, that's weird. But then again, at some of the services I've been to at Crossfire, there have been people who come into the service who are kind of loud and boisterous and sometimes threaten to make a scene, or they do make a scene. So I thought maybe it was just another one of those incidents. But then the next day, Monday, this article came out on my local news website, KEZI9. And the article is titled, Springfield Man Arrested in Stabbing at Church, Police Say. Now, the article itself has been updated since I first read it, and it's because it includes quotations from my pastor. Anyway, the article says, a Springfield man is facing assault and weapons charges following a Sunday morning stabbing incident at a Springfield church, Springfield Police Department said. Police said they responded to Crossfire Church, where they interviewed the man who was stabbed, who sustained non-life-threatening head and neck injuries. The victim was transported to a nearby hospital for treatment and is expected to make a full recovery. Springfield police say they found the suspect, John Brian Johnson, 53, of Springfield near the scene. Springfield police said they interviewed Johnson, then arrested him without further incident. He was taken to the Lane County Jail on charges of second-degree assault and unlawful use of a weapon. Because of the ministry's dedication to helping others, the leadership there felt they had established a connection with Johnson. Pastor Aaron Taylor says the man had visited the church on other occasions and never showed any violent tendencies. He has never shown any violence whatsoever, but what we believe it was a drug psychosis, thinking that somebody with the same name had hurt his son, Taylor said. In doing so, he cut his neck and a little bit above his ear. Taylor says he is thankful that his staff and security were able to immediately separate the attacker from the victim and end the situation without further injury. He added that although he is operating a church that's dedicated to helping people overcome personal struggles, it is frustrating to see Oregon laws make drug use more accessible to local citizens. People are self-medicating on drugs, and now we have made many of them legal, and it has become very difficult, Taylor said. We are affected on a regular basis by the fentanyl crisis that is in our community and is hurting so many. Despite what happened, Taylor says his organization will always give help and care to anyone affected by drug abuse and social issues. He added that they will continue to give sermons just as before, but with more staff present. We'll never screen people who come to church. Instead, what we'll do is have a very robust security and staff, Taylor says. We've never had an incident that was beyond this scope, that's for sure. So yes, as you can see, the title and thumbnail of my video was not clickbait. A stabbing did occur at the 11 a.m. service at Crossfire Church that I normally attend. And it just so happens that my sleeping in and missing the service and watching it from my bed on Roku instead turned out to keep me from being near this incident, which I'm sure if I had been there would have been pretty darn scary, because I've seen a lot of stuff in my professional career outside of the internet, but I've never been involved in something like this, and I don't know, I might have been rattled by something like this occurring. But then again, it was over pretty quick, because you saw Pastor Aaron come back onto the stage and continue giving his sermon not very long after he ran off the stage to see what was going on. So yeah, obviously they got the situation under control pretty quickly and efficiently. So kudos to them for that. I'm just glad mainly that nobody was hurt or killed. I mean, one person was hurt, but it wasn't life-threatening. He's going to make a full recovery. No one was killed, and the person who did the stabbing of this guy, he didn't put up a fight after police found him, and they were able to detain him quickly and quietly. I'm very thankful that it did not get worse. But when I read articles like this, it makes me think, wow, the places that I think of as safe to go in this world really aren't. And the other time something like this occurred in my life was back in 2014 when a Linfield College football player got, I don't remember if he was stabbed or shot at a 7-Eleven across from the Linfield campus that I used to go to all the time back when I was a Linfield student. I remember back when that incident occurred, which not only was in a 7-Eleven across the street from the Linfield campus, but was also just a few hours after I had attended a football game earlier that day that this player had been participating in. And I remember back when that incident happened, I thought, wow, I used to go to this 7-Eleven all the time, and nothing wild like that ever happened before. And Next thing I know, I'm reading about a Linfield player who I had just watched play in a game a few hours earlier, get killed at this 7-Eleven, and it was a very sobering experience for me. And even though this story didn't have as bad of an ending, it's still sobering to know that stuff like that can happen in places that I frequently visit or frequently go to. And normally I would think of a church as being a pretty safe place to go to, but not in today's world, not in 2023. But I am grateful to be part of Crossfire for being able to handle stuff like this in an efficient manner and to keep everyone who's attending safe, and for not being phased or rattled by this kind of stuff. It's good to know that Crossfire Church can stand up to a little bit of heat and keep doing the work that the Lord's called them to do. But this is still a really sad story, even though it had about as good of ending as you could expect from a story like this.